Petroware has taken the fear and guesswork out of new company setup and creation of master files. Owner, vendor, purchaser, property, division of interest, and chart of accounts are entered with the fastest speed in the industry. Each master file and input screen features the alphanumeric lookup windows exclusive to Petroware. Each of these windows has new incremental and multiple sort capabilities. No more lists to use for coding. Everything you need to find any owner, vendor, or property are right at your fingertips. Let's go ahead and look at the master files on Petroware.
In the owner screen, we can see how simple it is to pull up an owner and review their billing and revenue address. We can also see the revenue schedule, and the billing group that they're in here is monthly. We can see if there's any message to send to this owner on their statement. We can see if we would like to update this owner on their AFEs and what format we would like for that to have. Keep in mind, this is an owner setup regardless of the type of ownership that this person participates in, as well as the number of properties that they participate in. Next, let's take a look at our vendor file. Our vendor files in Petroware are really very simple. Here we're going to take a look at B&E Roustabout. We can see the due date from the invoice date. We're supposed to pay them within 15 days of receipt. They're set up as services in 1099. All of these defaults can be overridden. Probably the most important part, in my opinion, of this screen is the ability to set up their insurance for workers' comp, general liability, and auto insurance. This makes it very simple for printing out reports for anyone doing field work for qualified vendors that we currently have all certificates of insurance on file. Just very nice and simple. Next, let's take a look at our property screen. In Petroware, we have an upper tier and a lower tier in our property screen. Let's take a quick look at our Masterson tank battery property in King County, Texas, where we have 5 different wells set up on that lease. You will notice that on the number 5 well, that well is currently shut in, as this little hierarchical level shows, where our other wells are current oil producers. Just a nice simple little record for allocating reports later for the ability that we have to sort. So we're going to be able to use multiple of the hard-coded fields for sorting, and then these non-unique hierarchical records are also used for sorting. These can be changed and updated or edited at any time and used as part of the report filtering method. Now let's take a look at the division of interest file on the Masterson properties. So we're going to look at the first expense deck on the Masterson property. This is a property that we operate. We can tell that because the 8/8 line has both 100% or 1, and our share of responsibility has the same amount. Down here in our grid area, we can see the individual owners and their share of the expenses in this joint interest billing. We can also see that we have a second DOI set up on the Masterson for the after casing point records, for revenue records, for as many different records as we would like. These, of course, are date driven with an effective date for the number and type of the deck associated with it. This particular deck, if we wanted to duplicate this deck because of a change in ownership, very simply we would say maybe effective with January the 1st of 2011, we need a new joint interest billing deck on the Masterson. It tells us automatically that the division of interest has been used in some previous transactions that we might want to update. It duplicates our deck for us with the correct date. We can now put our new description in. Let's say this is due to a buyout. Let's come down and say that the owner that we bought out was Lola Dennis. We're going to delete Lola. We're going to turn right around and we're going to tell it that we want to insert a new owner, and that's going to be our operating company of Avatar for the working interest percentage, and we're going to tell it to save it. And isn't that much simpler than having to recreate a whole division of interest when we just need to add a new owner in the deck? Now I realize this has been a very quick overview of our master system files, but we just want you to see how the workflow and screens pop in these areas.
With the availability of lookup windows and data entry fields throughout the master files, your transition to Petroware will be the fastest in the industry. Contact Avatar Systems today.